Welcome everybody to today's webinar. We appreciate you joining. Today's title is Getting the Most from Copilot, Seeing Copilot Agents in Action with Real Business Scenarios. My name is Jeff Lau. I am a project manager here at Synergy Technical. Actually joined Synergy back in 2021 and worked a lot with those Power Platform tools. I came back to Synergy, and now a lot of my projects are having to do with AI, especially Copilot, Copilot Studio, those technologies. So we're really excited to be here today to dive a little bit deeper into Copilot Studio and actually showing you, what it's like to go in and create an agent and kind of everything surrounding that tool. So with that said, I'm going to pass it to Mahnoor, allow her to introduce herself.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Now, my name is Mahnoor Imran. I joined Synergy as an intern in my final year of university, and I've been here ever since. Full time now, I'm the Copilot training lead. Excited to be here today, talk all things Copilot. Jeff and I have been doing a lot of research, working internally on different things, and just working with a lot of clients to help them with, looking into Copilot Studio and Copilot. So we're excited to be talking about it a little bit today. Pass it back to Jeff to talk a little bit about Synergy.
Yeah, so just a little bit about us. We were founded back in 2011, so approaching 15 years, which we're excited about. And, we're based in Richmond, Virginia, but we have staff all over the US and Canada, as well as India. A little bit about us. We are a top 10 Microsoft licensing partner, as well as being recognized as one of the 25 nationally managed Microsoft partners. Kind of about who we work with. Different industries include nonprofit, energy, manufacturing, retail, pharmaceuticals, etc. We also have a lot of individuals here at Synergy that cover a lot of different technologies. We have a lot of people covering the Microsoft security stack and everything that goes along with that. We also have a managed services section, Power Platform, and recently AI being a big thing. We're focusing a lot on Copilot, and one of the reasons why we're having a webinar today on that. So that's a little about us. I'm going to pass it to Noor, and we'll get started with the content we have prepared for you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right, so this is the agenda for today, short and sweet. We're going to show you guys a demo in Copilot Studio, take you to a build of an HR agent that you can, we thought the use case is good because, every company has an HR and something that everyone can, start off with. So we thought it was a pretty good use case to begin with. Jeff is going to show some of his Power Automate skills, so you can look into that if you're someone who wants to create more advanced agents. And I'm going to take you through a more, basic build if you're someone who's a little bit, scared of the technical world. So yeah, and we're going to just get into Q&A after that. So first, we're just going to briefly go over Copilot Studio and then do the demo and questions at the end. All right, so this slide kind of just shows you Copilot and Copilot agents. So Microsoft 365 Copilot is a generative AI tool that works across, web and desktop, and it seamlessly integrates with Teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all the apps that you use. It is built on Microsoft Graph, so it uses your work data to connect to different systems like ERP and CRM through 1,800 plus connectors to just give you deeper and good business insights. A key feature of that is Copilot Agents, which is really new. It's no-code to low-code tools that allow users to build these agents that are capable of accessing the data, performing different actions, and supporting different specialized tasks. So organizations can choose from different flexible deployment options. So you can do a pay-as-you-go model, and so it really makes it easy to empower employees at all different levels, depending on whatever your use case is. So a little bit about what is an agent. An agent is an AI-powered tool that carries business tasks automatically. So if there's something that you see that's very repetitive tasks that you do, it's something that could an agent could take over. For example, HR, which is why we thought about it, because there's I'm sure a lot of questions that HR gets flooded with that are kind of repetitive. So this is just something that could, take over, giving people in HR more time to focus their energy on different things. So just giving them a little bit of time back. So it can support different individuals, teams, and be deployed across platforms like Copilot and your different apps like in Teams. So you can just prompt it from there and even your websites. The Copilot Studio helps users create and customize AI agents without really heavy coding. So if you're someone, again, like I mentioned, who is not into the coding world, doesn't know much about coding, we'll show you the interface. It's kind of just like chatting, and it's going to create that agent for you and be able to answer those questions. It's really great. And for people who do have those skill sets, like, Jeff, you can build something even more, complex and just have those tasks be automated without any human intervention. So that's great. You can manage everything in one place and integrate it with different tools, which is really cool. And then connect it to the Microsoft 365 data to just boost productivity even more and streamline workflows. These are the different types of agents that you see on the screen here. So on the left-hand side, you'll see retrieval. That's the most simple type of agent. So it's basically just, going to fetch and summarize information for you, like a chatbot answering questions, like just frequently asked questions, like I mentioned, the HR scenario. Then you go a step further and you go into tasks. That's when, it takes actions and it triggers a workflow when, say, an IT ticket is submitted. And then we go to autonomous, which is the most advanced types of agents. They act on their own, they manage tasks and even escalate issues. So think of this as like a smart assistant who will handle onboarding from start to finish without a human needing to do it. Again, this slide goes a little bit into the examples of what each agent is. So from simple to advanced again, right? So simple agent would be an IT help desk or a project tracker to just answer quick questions. So like, hey, what's the state of this project right now? What's the status, right? So just fetching that information, giving the output. A task agent, like I said, goes a step further. So if you want to do a laptop request or, look at some budget reviews and manage those, that would be the task agent. And then the most advanced one, the advanced agent, would be like a lead gen. So we would go ahead, do the research and create leads for you, and then you can just review it. So it's doing the work in the back end for you to just look at it later without any human input or interaction in the beginning. I'll pass it over to Jeff to talk a little bit about how to customize your agent. Then we'll go into the demos.
All right. Thanks, Mahnoor. So talking a little bit about what agents are comprised of, there are really four main building blocks, and those are knowledge, actions, logic, and channels. And so what I want to do is quickly run through each of these building blocks and kind of take you into a deeper dive of each of these so you can understand them. The first one is knowledge. So this is essentially going to be the brains of your agent. It's where the agent gets all of its information, and it's what it allows the agent to be able to answer those questions for you and be able to have that conversation back and forth about that information. And you can connect your agent to a variety of different data sources. There's SharePoint, Dataverse, OneDrive. You can even connect it to just public websites to be able to scrape all of that information as well. And then there's some more sophisticated ones like Jira, which is the project management tool, Salesforce, and many others. And, just like the Power Platform and the connectors within that, Microsoft is going to continue to add to this as we move forward. So that's knowledge. All right, so the next building block is actions. And so, we have knowledge where you can start to add different knowledge sources to your agent, but now you want to take it a step farther and you want to have your agent perform different tasks for you. And so there are really three core things I like to talk about when it comes to actions. The first one being pre-built connectors. There are over 1,500 plus connectors already available to you. And so if you just look here on this slide, you'll see a couple examples here. I like to talk about the Excel one just because it's here on the slide. Maybe you want your agent to be able to manipulate data on an Excel worksheet, and you'd like your user to be able to do that through an agent interface. So you can go in here and choose, let's just say, delete a row. You can add that action. You'll add a couple different parameters to it. And your user will be able to prompt the agent to, delete a row from a spreadsheet using that agent. So that's really neat. And there's over 1,500 plus connectors, 100 plus connectors. So, whatever need that your user needs to do, most likely there'll be some kind of action that they can use. The next thing is custom connectors. So for some reason, you're trying to integrate with a system that doesn't have a connector built in. If it has an API available, you're able to create what's called a custom connector, and you can configure that within Copilot Studio. The last thing is workflows. This is really great. It's one of the most powerful things in my opinion, and we'll actually explore it in the demonstration in a bit. But you can actually bring in full workflows from Power Automate and integrate that with your Copilot agent. So you can have your agent call a workflow whenever a user wants to do that. So that's actions. The next building block is logic. And so logic allows your agent to decide, what to do next, and it kind of allows your user to interact with the agent in a specific way that you choose. And it does this through the creation of what are called topics. And so we'll show a couple of these today in the demo, but just think of topics as each individual conversation piece that your agent is comprised of. And so you might have a topic that introduces the agent to the user. You might have a topic that ends the conversation by just saying bye. But that's, each one of these has a topic of its own. And so we'll explore actually how to create a custom topic in the demo. So you start from scratch, and I'll show you step by step how to go about creating one. And the last building block is channels. And this is simply the places in which you can deploy your agent to and allow your user to start to test it. And so the most popular channels are SharePoint, Teams, Microsoft 365, but there are an array of other channels that you can choose from. Maybe you have a public website for your organization, or maybe a custom application. Copilot Studio allows you to deploy to those locations as well. And so those are really the main core building blocks of an agent, and you'll kind of see when we get into the demonstration how all this kind of comes together. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is dive into a demonstration. I will pass it to Mahnoor, and we're going to start building an HR agent.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm going to share my screen here. This is the landing page for Copilot Studio. So when you come build agents, this is what you'll see first. These are all the agents that you'll have built. At the bottom, you'll see Explore Agents. There's just pre-built ones that they have that you can play around with. At the top here, you can write your prompt, and you can just start building from there. But right now, we're going to go hit Create, and then we're going to hit New Agent. What we're going to do from there is we're going to say, I want to build an HR agent to answer questions from a SharePoint site. So we're going to write that. There's different ways you can go about it. You can have this conversation if you're someone, again, who doesn't want to do the whole, complicated bit, or you think that it's just too tech savvy otherwise. You can do this conversational. They'll ask you questions. You'll know exactly what to put in, and it'll just guide you through it. So right now I just put, I want to build an agent for HR, and look at what it populated on the right-hand side here. So you can, it populated these questions that are starter prompts, which if you have the Copilot license, you'll see in Teams where you are in a meeting, it'll say recap meeting and all that, which is really helpful. Yeah. So it's just kind of like a one-click thing. So, if you have a question about payroll, who should I contact about payroll issues? Maybe you didn't get, paid the same amount this month. I don't know. Or you can hit configure, and it will take you to just inputting that information yourself without it prompting you like that conversational thing. So you can change the name here. So we're going to change it to HR. And here it populated the description. So it's saying an HR agent that answers employees' questions. And then it has all these instructions populated. So do not provide legal, financial, or health advice. All of these things, just being very specific. It is also talking about, tone, always communicate in English and maintain a very respectful tone. So you can change all that, put that in the instructions. If there's specific things you don't want it to answer, you can write that. If there's any question about, uh, the maternity leave or whatever, you can say that, just prompt them to email HR or do whatever else you would want it to do. So all these instructions that you can just put in here. And as you can see, I just wrote one thing that I want to build an HR agent, and it populated all this stuff, which I think is really helpful. And then also gave you suggested prompts. And you can tweak those from here. You can also add knowledge sources, like Jeff mentioned before, and we're going to do that right now. So you can hit add. You can add from the website, Dataverse, Dynamics 365, whatever else you want. So we'll do SharePoint. You can add the URL right here, or you can hit browse items. So if you hit browse items, we'll go to more places. We'll go to human resources, employee handbook. If there's specific ones that you want to keep, you can just check those. If there's one that you want to leave off, you can just leave that unchecked, but we'll hit all of it here and do confirm selection. You can add a description here. So here it says the knowledge source provides information on this, the benefits guide. So you can change that if you want, and you want to add that to the agent, and it'll go ahead and take a second and then just populate right here and tell you that it's ready. Then after that, it takes a little while for it to digest everything. And once it does, you can just ask questions and prompt it to just answer those questions. You just want to make sure that you test everything and it's giving you the right responses that you're expecting. And it's not just saying that you have unlimited time off. If you don't, it's not making stuff up, because if sometimes it will see gaps, it will try to fill those gaps with just made up stuff. So you sometimes in the instructions, you can also put do not hallucinate. That helps it a little bit. Or you can say, if you don't know the answer, just say that, or prompt them to contact HR, contact IT if it's an IT related question or whatnot. So that's just really helpful. From that, I'll pass it over to Jeff to talk a little bit about topics, and then we'll go ahead and prompt Copilot to ask them the questions.
All right, thanks, Mahnoor. And we'll go ahead and share my screen. All righty. So yeah, we're going to dive into topics a little bit and kind of explore that area of Copilot Studio. And so right up at the top, there's a tab called Topics. And again, these are the different conversations that your user will have with the agent that you create. And there are two different types of topics. We have custom topics. These are the ones that you're going to create from scratch. There's also a couple custom topics that are created by default. And then there are system topics. And these are things like the start of the conversation. So when the agent says, hello to the user, what can I help you with? Things like that. There's also a fallback system topic, and this is basically created so, if for some reason the agent can't answer the question, it can fall back to different topics that you create, or can maybe go off and, to an actual HR representative where they can, answer the questions. There's other ones here too, and they're all turned on by default, but you can, turn them off if you don't want to include them. But today we're going to create a custom topic that actually sends an email to an HR representative if for some reason, the agent is unable to answer, any of the questions that a user says, or maybe they just didn't type in the question clearly and the agent is unable to respond correctly. So what I've done is I've created a topic here called Escalate Demo. And I kind of want to take you through just the different components of a topic so you can better understand it. So the first thing that every topic has is a trigger. So this is how the topic will actually get initiated when a user is having a conversation. And so there are tons of different types of triggers that you can configure. And you can, play around with each of these. In this particular case, this trigger is the agent chooses. So this means that the agent is going to use generative AI to decide when to initiate. So you don't even have to configure anything. What you do have to do is just give your agent or your trigger a description here. And the one I have is the topic is triggered when the agent cannot explicitly answer the question. So simply with that little description, this trigger is going to be just fine and will get triggered whenever the agent is unable to respond for some reason. And then what I want to do is kind of take you through this entire topic. And so the first thing I'm doing here is I'm setting a variable and I am grabbing the user's display name. So what's great about Copilot Studio is there's actually some expressions in the background that are actually able to grab information about the user. And so I'm just going to grab the user's display name here, and I'm going to save it into a variable because I'm going to use it later, which we'll see. And the next node in this conversation is a question that I'm going to prompt the user. And it's really easy to add different conversation nodes. You simply just click this plus button, and there's a bunch of different types of conversation nodes that you can add. You can send a message, ask a question, you can create a condition. But in this case, I'm going to ask the question here. We're going to say, unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that question. Would you like me to forward it to an HR for a response? And then I can create some answers, some options for the user. I'm going to say yes and no, continue the conversation with the agent. If we scroll down here, we'll see that I've created two conditions within this topic. And conditions are just different pathways that, depending on whatever the user chooses from the question, it will send the topic down either path. And so we're really concerned with if the user wants to send an email to HR. And so we'll look at this condition here. If their response is equal to yes, what we're going to do is send them what's called an adaptive card. And in this case, it's simply just a text box where they can re-enter their question. And this is going to allow us to capture that question and be able to send it off in an email. So far we captured the user's name. Now we're going to capture their initial question. And I scroll down here. And right after that, what we're going to do is we're going to trigger a Power Automate workflow that's going to send that email to HR. And so here, there are two inputs that I'm going to send over to Power Automate. I'm going to send that a question, and I'm going to send the user's name. And so if you can see here, the Power Automate flow is called Email HR Flow. And I have that pulled up here in a different tab, which I'll show you. I'm going to open up this flow. And you can see here, it's really simple. I have a trigger and then I have two actions. So literally, took me like 5 minutes to make. So very simple here. We are collecting the inputs from the Copilot agent, the question and the name. And then we have this send email action. And we're going to send this to Adele. She's just one of the users in this environment. We're going to have her be our HR representative today. We also going to create a subject for our email, so new HR question. And then the body of the email is just going to be, hi HR team. We're going to use our variable username has escalated their question for review. Please find the question below and respond accordingly. And we've also added that employee question. So Adele knows what the question is and can email Megan, who is our the person utilizing an agent. That's her name. And so that's really it. The last action is simply just sending an output to the agent, just saying, thanks for submitting the question to HR. They'll review it and reach out via email shortly. So that's the workflow that's going to be triggered by our topic. And now what we can do is go back into Copilot Studio and try it out and see if it works. So we're going to go back here and we'll open up the test window. And I've actually pre-created a question here that I know for sure the agent will be able to answer and hopefully be able to trigger this escalate topic. So are employees allowed to cash out unused PTO upon termination? And we'll send that off. And what should happen is it should go ahead and start up this topic, and it did. So it's saying, unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that question. Would you like me to forward it to HR? And we're going to say yes. And we can see that nice adaptive card that's going to show up here. We will go ahead and place our question in there and click submit. Right. We heard that email come in, and I have Adele's email pulled up here, and we can see that question was sent to her, letting her know that Megan Bowen has escalated her question, and it even gives us the question here. So there you go. It's as easy as that to create a topic, to send an email, just in case, for some reason the agent's unable to do that. It's a really just a great addition to, what Mahnoor has already created. So with that said, I'm going to pass it back to Mahnoor.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, you could even do that in just thinking while you're doing it, like a Teams group chat of all HR people so we can get to it first.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like just a bunch of people or a shared mailbox, any of that, whichever works for you.
Yeah.
Now that we've had the information marinating in the agent, we can go ahead and ask questions. So whatever you want to ask, say like, what is the PTO policy? And it's going to go ahead and give you an answer. And it's going to show you the activity map on the left here. So you can kind of see what sources it's reviewing and where it's going to get that information from, just so you can see that's, again, giving you the right information. So here it gives you what the query was, what the response is, and these numbers that you see at the end are the citations of where it's referencing that information from. You can also ask, like, what are some work policies? So just so you're, if you're new to the company, you just want to know about some of the policies, you can do that, or you can ask, what's my yearly, when's my yearly review, whichever question you have that you would typically, ask HR or whatever is in the employee handbook. And again, if it's not there, then like Jeff showed you guys, it could be escalated to HR, again, taking some of that time off of them. See here, it also says if unresolved, contact HR and gives you the HR information. And so you can just email them, or again, if it could still answer this, so it gave you that email. But again, if it can't answer it completely, it's going to show that adaptive card that Jeff showed you guys, where you can type that question in. It's going to send it to the email, so you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. You can also, ask about just when do I get paid? If there's like if it's biweekly or end of the month or just, one time, it's going to go ahead and see if it has that answer for you in all those documentation, and again, give you an answer based off of that. So you can just, have that be at your fingertips pretty fast. You can also deploy these once you've tested your agent and you just want to publish it to Teams. You can do that too. Jeff talked about it a little bit in channels. So here you go. You're done thinking. So it says it follows a bi-weekly payroll schedule, which is the most common one in the United States. So I'm going to give you a little fact. So if you go to channels right here, you can publish it to a website. You can publish it to Teams in Microsoft 365 Copilot or SharePoint. So depending on whichever one, if you wanted to sit on a SharePoint site where people can just come in and, it can point people in the right direction and they can look at the documentations or just get a quick answer, you can do that. So once you hit, Teams and Microsoft 365 Copilot, if that's where you want it to be, you can hit that, make agent available in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and you'll see it pop up on the left-hand side where you'll see some other agents. You can just hit add channel and it's going to go ahead and publish that for you. So you can just, have it ready for everyone in the company to use. It's going to be pretty quick. It's just going to publish that so everyone else can see it. I think that's everything that I wanted to show you guys within Studio. Jeff, did you want to highlight anything else? You think we covered it all?
I will say, the key to this is testing your agent out as much as possible, and making little tiny changes. You should never deploy an agent until for sure that it's looking into the right knowledge sources that you've added. It's not hallucinating and giving wrong answers. So just make sure you continue to test and test and test and make little changes to your instructions or your knowledge sources.
Correct. Yeah. Before, it just gives people the wrong answers. And now you're just kind of just confused as to where people are getting that information from.
Yeah.
It's just better to just take a little bit of time and do all the right testing to see, again, that it's giving you the right information that you're supposed to get. That's just the best practice. We'll go back to the slide deck and pass it over to Jeff in just a little bit. First, I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I've already mentioned, but I just want to reiterate the slide that it is for end users who don't have any technical experience, and also for developers who do have that extensive knowledge and experience within, Power Automate or coding. Whatever you think, your skill set, you can add it within it and just make it, 10 times more powerful, and just whatever your use case is. So it is powerful and flexible enough to support simple use cases and more complex standalone solutions, kind of like we showed you. There's just a spectrum of different types of agents that you can build. So yeah, I just want to show you that and say that if you don't, again, consider yourself someone who's very technical, you can still build these agents and have them, take some time, give you some time back and just work on something that needs more of your attention. I'll pass it back to Jeff to talk a little bit about the path forward.
Yeah. So, you've learned a little bit about how to create Copilot Studio agents, and, maybe you're asking the question, how do I move forward as an organization with this technology? And it's a great question. There's really three things I'd like to kind of cover. The first one is identifying and prioritizing business challenges that benefit from AI. So, at Synergy, we do a lot of workshops with our clients around, specific business challenges that organizations are facing, and trying to figure out, what is the best bang for the buck when it comes to building an agent for those. So, you shouldn't just start building a bunch of agents. You really need to figure out, which use cases are the best to commit all this time and money to, and so that's really the first step. I think is a smart move, and then training and change management is another important concept to understand. I think having a training, a lot of training in place for all of your users is important. This technology definitely has a learning curve to it, so it's important to make sure that your users are equipped to start using it. The last thing is measuring the impact of the investment. You pay a lot of money for these tools. You spend a lot of time learning them, so it's important to measure how are they being used in your organization, and seeing the outcomes of those, and that will ultimately drive this technology forward in your organization, and will make you want to continue to use the products. But those are really the key things, I think, as you start to move forward with Copilot Studio and adopt the technology. We do have a couple questions I think we're going to kind of go over.
Yeah, the first question is, do I need a Copilot license to build agents? We get this question all the time, and the license structure can be a little confusing, but no, you don't need one. Copilot Studio, agents can be built like standalone, or you can have that be an extension to your current Microsoft subscription, Copilot subscription that you have, and do it. But there's different things that you can do by message packs, and it's a pay-as-you-go subscription, so you can use these agents. And if there's any questions about that, we'll put up our sales team contact up here, or you can email me and Jeff, and we'd be happy to help you.
Absolutely.
The next question is, can I make my agent start a workflow automatically without someone asking for it?
Yes, so there are something called autonomous agents that are possible to create in Copilot Studio. And so you can create an agent that will automatically be triggered without human intervention. I actually created one of these recently for myself. I created one that would go off each day to send me kind of a daily digest email. which is really cool. It included things like my daily meetings, my tasks that I had for the day. And a couple other different things, but all of that was created and triggered automatically without me having to do anything, which was really nice. So yeah, it's certainly possible, and there's tons of use cases for that.
Yeah, of course. And then the next one is, can I connect my agent to external tools like Salesforce or ServiceNow? Yes, you can. We talked a little bit about this, that there's 1,500 plus pre-built connectors, or you can create custom ones like Jeff talked about a little bit. If there is a publicly available API that you can use. So yeah, you can utilize any one of those. And if there's not one yet, I'm sure there will be, with how fast everything is growing. You'll probably see one soon if you don't see it already. Somebody also had a question about analytics, so we can show you a little bit of that too. So once you publish your agent, you'll see analytics down here, and what you can do is you can we just made this agent, so it's not going to have any, but you can see the conversation sessions, the engagement, and the satisfaction score. So you can just use this to just use it as your metric to see how many people are actually using it, and if you're what the rate of return is on your investment.
And it's also a good way to know, what kind of message pack or pay as you go kind of thing to set up.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows you a little bit of it, so you can see the billing and everything if you're doing pay as you go, which I think is great. And then it also shows you the effectiveness of the outcomes of each message and how many questions were escalated. So if it used Jeff's flow, it would show you that, hey, this many questions were escalated to the HR. And potentially you could add something into the document if there's a repetitive question you see being escalated into the knowledge that could be answered without being escalated. So it could just show you a little bit of a gap there. So yeah, that's a little bit about Copilot Studio. That's all we had for today. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, everyone.